Episode 167 of Mastering Local Marketing. I'm Jim Deedlow. He's Matt Hansen. Matt, how you doing?
I'm good.
He's the digital marketing guru. Hey, if you want, you know what? We haven't done this in a while, but I think it's time maybe we profile a couple of companies. I met another HVAC guy, and he said he would come on, and a couple of other folks, and we just never do it because we enjoy talking so much about marketing. But if you want you say, hey, here's what I do with marketing, and then maybe Matt will give you some free consultation on, well, maybe you should think about doing this, or you should think about doing that. And believe it or not, I've been doing this with him long enough, I may be able to put something in. But all you got to do is go to matt@digitalhelium.com, or you could send to Adriana at wjob1230.com, and we'll just talk to you. Hey, what do you do? How do you do it? And then other people will learn from your mistakes and your successes. The top 8 marketing strategies that convert more. Customers may already be visiting your website, reading your emails, viewing your products, and considering your services. Something is simply stopping them from taking the next step. In this episode, we look at the small obstacles that quietly cost businesses sales and how conversion marketing can help turn more existing attention into action. So you have written here, optimize your CTAs.
Yep.
First of all, explain what a CTA is.
So CTA is a call to action, right? So everything in marketing, we have a million different acronyms, and we don't like to spell anything out. But CTA is a call to action. So when you are putting an offer out there, whether it's your website, social, email, digital in general, you've got a call to action. You want them to do something. You want them to click on something, a link, a button, whatever it may be. And many times people don't think about what that looks like, right? They just throw a button up there and they put click here, whatever it is, and they forget about it. But we've done enough research in marketing to know that if you're not A/B testing, if you're not testing one button versus another, and that could be just the simple color, it could be the text on the button, it can be a variety of things, right? It could be the size of the button, it could be round, it could be oval, it can be, square, it could be triangle. I mean, it could be everything, right? But if you're not testing your call to action, you are wasting money, because I've seen so many research studies over the years where, people have been running with just a normal button, and it's, let's say their color scheme is blue and, kind of a light beige or whatever it may be, and their button is blue, and it kind of just, gets lost on the page. Change the button, right? So we know color theory. We know that you've got warm and cool colors. So if you've got a cool website, and not cool as in, the great term, but cool colors, use a red, an orange, a yellow button to counterbalance that, because our eyeballs from a human being perspective are drawn to things that are different. We are drawn to things that are bigger, and we work our way smaller, but we are drawn to things that are different. So if you have this color palette and you're like, well, I want it to match my website, that's great. But I'd rather be selling more, converting more, gaining more emails, whatever it may be. So play with your call to action. I mean, that's probably the number one thing that I always say. Have you tested it? Are you seeing things? And I've seen some pretty drastic high-level A/B tests through my years. And, there is no right answer. I know a lot of people are like, well, I saw on the website or saw on the internet that my button should be this color and that it should say that. And yeah, for that instance, but your customers may be a little bit different. You need to find out what works best for you.
All right. Another marketing strategy to perhaps convert more, personalizing your information that you send to them or make contact with. Now, it's kind of high-level stuff at times, but how does the small to medium-sized business do that?
Yeah, I mean, if you're out there and you're doing email, you're probably using one of the cheaper tools like a Constant Contact or a MailChimp or something like that, right? Many of those have worked in the personalization aspect of it, and we talked in the last podcast about email. If you collect the data, again, use it, right? So if there are certain types of products that they buy, and a couple weeks ago we did one on direct mail and digital printing, but the same rules hold here. If somebody only buys shirts from you and somebody only buys pants from you, that email that you send out should only have shirts or should only have pants to them. So, maybe you create some kind of dynamic content in there where it's showing up and you're saying, okay, well, this person gets product one, and product one for them is always shirt one, shirt two, shirt three, and so forth. That's the most basic level of doing it. But what I'm saying is, again, you don't want to send people content that's irrelevant to them. So by building in the dynamic content, even as simple as just Dear Jim or Dear Matt, it's personalized. We see it. It shows you took one little extra effort instead of just Dear Valued Customer, which tells me that you don't know anything about your list whatsoever.
So one of the buzzwords right now is UX. And, when you get to your website, how do you work through it? How do you work down the funnel to top of the funnel? Oh, you got a little bit of awareness. Now you're thinking about it. And then how do you become a client at the bottom of the funnel? You got to follow all that through, but there's also a progression that you follow on your website, on your entrance to your store. All of that stuff has to be thought through. How do you improve on your UX?
Well, it was funny. Here's a good story about that. Last week, I think it was last week, maybe the week before, I spent 2 days on Claude, and I was building a website. And it was a fully functioning website. It basically figures out the product that you're buying, the price that it should charge, taxes, and it had a back-end system to it, and all this automated emails and everything. And I did it in 2 days, and Claude was great for it. Set up the entire thing and was adding things as I was going. I'm like, well, it would be nice to have this and this and this. And we put it all in there. And I said, okay, well, I could stop here, which is where most people are going to stop. I said, but now I need to start testing, right? So I went through and I was trying to look at things, and I was looking at it from a desktop version to a mobile version. And it was funny because on my phone, it was still looked like a desktop version. Everything was really small. It wasn't changing to a mobile optimized website. So we worked on that for a while. And then I said, okay, well, now that it's mobile optimized, the text, the main paragraph text is still too small. So we kept upping it. And then I went to another website that I could test every single type of phone and resolution to see how it was looking. So we did all that, right? So that took me about an hour to go through there. But then I said, okay, well, let's start testing orders. So we put in an order. The automated emails came out, and I said, okay, well, the email goes to there was a gift component to it. Like somebody could buy a gift, and it would send to one person. I said, okay, that's great. That works, but I would also like an email to go to the person that gave the gift so they can see what was sent at that time. So that was changed, and then I realized it wasn't firing, right? The carbon copy wasn't firing. So we had to do some things. So instead of getting into the technical details of all this, what I'm saying is you can set it up and you would think it would work, but there are little small things as you're going through that you need to understand may not be firing, may not be happening the way you think they are. So you've got to test it, right? You look at your shopping cart. Maybe your shopping cart is 7 steps. I would be like, how do I get this to 1 step? How do I get this to 2 steps, right? Because every time you click submit and they go to the next page and the next page, you're losing people. And I had one which I thought was amazing the other day. I set up an order and I didn't bail on the order, but I walked away from it. And the guy called me later on that night. He's like, hey, just wanted to give you a call. I noticed you had a cart that you put in. You didn't follow through. I just want to see if you had any questions. And I was just like, amazing, right? Like I loved it.
You had already put your phone number in?
I put my phone number in. Yeah, because I'm going to order, but it was sitting there. I just didn't get to it because I had it was like delivery and some other things I had to figure out. But that's what I mean by user experience. I was just like, that's amazing. I love that. Now I've got a guy I can call when I do need to make another order instead of just kind of going through this. But that's all the stuff. Like we can use AI and we can build all these things, but if we don't understand the user experience, we may start to get some real issues, right? So I had coupon codes built in. I had all this special things like gifting accounts and all this stuff. And I knew there were going to be issues because AI is not perfect. But I knew it doesn't matter if a human being's doing it or the AI is doing it, there are going to be issues. So you have to test the user experience. You have to understand what it's like. And after, I probably spent just as much time on the user experience than I did on putting all the other stuff together in there. So it's solid now. It's ready to go. I just got to get the product and everything else.
User experience is huge in data analytics, and there's all sorts of people that's just their whole job is what's the UX? All right, let's look at this, and they're going through it every day and rechurning and doing the UX. My son-in-law actually does that. All right, our favorite pop-up ads. How do you use them?
Well, like not necessarily calling them pop-up ads, but you go to a website and then you go to leave and then something pops up, right? That's fine. I don't mind that, right? They're trying to get my email, they want something, or maybe they're saying like, hey, we'll give you a discount, don't leave, right? That's great. But there are other websites out there, and I'm not going to name names, but where I'm just trying to read content and the ads just keep covering the content over and over and over again. That's a horrible experience. It makes me never want to click on that website again. And I see this all the time where it's a article or something that I want to learn, and I know it's from that website, and I just won't go at this point because the user experience is so bad because those ads are popping up like crazy. But if it's something as simple as, hey, don't leave, we've got this offer for you, I don't mind that, right? Like you're going to give me a discount, and it's quite honestly, when you hover over and off of the browser, you'll see that pop up many of the times.
Retargeting ads. Mm-hmm. How can that contribute to conversion?
Right. So somebody has come to your website, and we know that, right? We've got data on it. We can see it. We set up the tracking mechanisms. And then, you can kind of say, oh, well, we didn't convert them. Or you can set up retargeting ad campaigns that actually go out there and target those individuals and say, hey, come back. We've got this product. I mean, Amazon is the king of this, right? So you go to Amazon and you search for anything, and you'll see that ad. You'll see an ad pop up with dynamic content of what you were looking at over and over and over again. I mean, they're amazing at it. Now, I realize most of us aren't that good, but just a simple ad to remind them that, hey, you were looking on that website, and hey, now you're following me with these ads, many times gets people to come back and actually complete the sale. So going back to the guy that I was trying to buy something from, I haven't seen any retargeting. I haven't seen any ads. It doesn't mean that they're not out there. Maybe they're not running ads, but they did it with a phone call. But you can set up a retargeting campaign to target individuals that have come to your website, and they'll start to see it over and over again. Many of them will end up coming back and making a purchase.
What about testimonials?
These are huge, right? So if you have people that are singing your praises, whether it's a physical testimonial or it's a review, right? Like put your Google reviews on your website. There's ways to do that, and I'm not going to get into the details of that, but testimonials, Google reviews, back when drop shipping was a huge thing, I started to notice everyone was putting like all these reviews on there, and I'm sitting here going, these are fake, right? Like this website popped up yesterday, and all of a sudden they have 10,000 reviews. It's impossible, right? So make sure when you put testimonials and reviews and all of that kind of stuff out there, it's got to be legit. I mean, there is some legal repercussions if you do this wrong, but by putting testimonials, by putting those Google reviews, those 5 stars up there, that's value, right? Like that is huge value. I mean, I don't know about you, but when I'm shopping, and my wife and I do this all the time, she'll find something, she sends it to me, and she's like, all right, put your bloodhound nose on and go find out if this is a good deal or not. And I go into the reviews, I start reading things and comments. I ignore the ones that are just stars, and I want to read what people have written. And you can sniff out the ones that are just, boring, whatever, like just, we'll call them generic, right? I'm looking for the stories, things that happen, right? Like, oh, I bought this to solve this problem, and here's a picture of it. Can you believe how amazing? That's what I'm looking for. Or I'm looking for the opposite. I got this thing. It's, 1/3 the size I thought it was going to be. Don't buy this. Those are legit. So if you have really good testimonials, really good reviews, highlight them because people are reading those more often than not.
Back to the UX, the checkout process. I mean, a lot of people sign up with Square or Wix or whatever, and they just take the generic checkout process. And a lot of times they ask for more information than you really need. Right. So now there's another step or more customization of the product. You really kind of got to look at how you streamline that actual process as part of the UX. How do you do that?
Well, I mean, going back to the project that I just did, right? So we were building the checkout, and, I'm not using any of those systems. Basically Stripe was the very end of it. That's where the payment was going through. But we built the checkout to where it was, you could select time of day, when it was going to be delivered. We integrated Google Calendar into it. You couldn't, basically we couldn't overbook what was being built in there. We built Google Maps in for the address. So we knew you didn't have to physically type your whole address. You could type in, if it's 102 South something, it would populate on the closest address. We were trying to take out all the variables that would take a long time. And that was the cool part, right? So I'm speeding up the process. If you're using something like Stripe, on that very last click and your data's already in there from another purchase, all you had to do is click pay and you were done, right? That's the beauty of it. So it was, how do we speed these things up faster and faster and faster to make the process so easy? And I love that about some of the websites that I deal with, where it's literally, I click on it, I add it to my cart, and it says pay with the same one. Yep, let's go. That makes me buy so much faster before I even think about, do I need this?
Finally, another strategy that could help you convert more for your small to medium-sized business is one that you might not want to do. I think there's two on this list that are, first of all, the pop-ups, and then second of all, live chat. Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of people go to this, but then they got to be ready to, somebody on the team's got to, somebody's got to be there if there's a real question that AI can't answer.
Right. I mean, you can tie this to one person's phone at this point, right? It's not that hard. Or you can just create a chat bot. But, you got to train a chat bot, an AI chat bot, essentially based on data. And what you're doing is you're looking at your frequently asked questions and just creating, here are the answers that we get over, and here are the questions we get over and over and over again, and here are the answers that we give over and over and over again. If you do that, you're going to alleviate probably 80% of the questions that are coming in, which is great, because every time that you got to pick your phone up and explain to somebody the same question answer over and over takes time away from your business. So that's why it's on this list. Many people don't want to do that, which is perfectly fine. I mean, there's a lot of ideas on here on what we've put out here today, but I think if you can alleviate picking up the phone 80% of the time by just putting something on your website that's going to answer it for you, wouldn't you want to do that? Yeah, let's go golfing instead.
You put out a lot there.
Yep.
And a lot of times in these podcasts, people will get overwhelmed and they feel like, gosh, I should do this, I should do that. I'm never going to get to any of this. How do you calm them down?
We said a bunch, right? Go back, re-listen, and choose one, maybe two that you'll actually do, right? If you just do one of these, you're going to be so much better off than you were before. If you do all of them, you're going to be amazing, right? You're going to be competing with some pretty heavy company there, but just do one. Just pick one. I mean, if you want to throw a chat bot up there, go for it. If you want to look at your user experience and just start fixing something, fix something. If you want to change the color of a button, if you're like, oh yeah, our buttons are the same color as the rest of our website, let's change it to red since we have blue tones, right? Just do one simple thing and just start to track it. And if you do that, you'll start to realize oh, okay, maybe that did help a little bit. I'm going to do one more, and I'm going to do one more. So just take it lightly. I mean, don't, hopefully you're not sitting there in your car writing all these down on the list real quick. Just go back, give it a quick listen, bookmark what you want to do. But yeah, just pick one. And
by giving it a quick listen, you could go to Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, and type in Mastering Local Marketing. Or you could go to the WJOB 1230 page on YouTube, and you'll be able to watch us sit here in the WJOB studios in Hammond, Indiana. If you want your own podcast or a growing podcast network, this is just one of many. All you got to do is get a hold of me. Adriana's on vacation, so I'll give my email out, jed@wjob1230.com. Thanks a lot to Lynette. Hi, Lynette. Thank you. She has been sitting in that same seat for 6 hours doing podcasts. This ends that little 6-hour run. Thanks a lot to you, Matt Hansen. I will say that you look all relaxed. You had a full summer of sitting around, and you're going to go back to teaching. And I'm over here just ramped up in like 5 different projects. It's usually the other way around.
Yeah, well, the projects are ramping up real quick. So teaching is just a small portion of what's going on right now.
All right. Most of all, thanks to you for listening and watching. Until next time, see you later.